everybody. Welcome to first episode of Dale's a Crowd. It's a podcast about our group of friends. We call our group the Dale's a Crowd Gang. I'm Philip,
I'm Roland.
I'm Nate.
and we're Dale of the several seven members.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
seven
how
members
you
in our
are
group.
making this a gang. But yeah, that's
We're
the
a
members.
gang. We're a gang. We are super villains.
Yeah, we're hard.
We're not a gang.
We're super villains.
You're saying Dale a lot. Does Nate or somebody, do you want to explain why we even do the Dale thing?
Yeah, where did Dale start, Nate? Like,
I don't know. I liked Dale Earnhardt growing up, and then we just always talked about it, I guess.
it was, cause like I remember it started in high school, and it was just a thing of like we don't say three, we say Dale, and then that just carried on.
Which I find hilarious because I've been to bars, I've been to like some parties and like Boone and Hickory and like some different places, and I've heard like the Dale thing, like that's a thing. It's not just like
The Dale, you mean raise hell, praise Dale?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Like whenever we went karaoke at the Vault, somebody said that to us. Do you remember that, Phil?
Well, I mean, they didn't say it to me, but I remember you being so excited about it.
Well, yeah. I think I went to a concert in Greensboro, and somebody was telling me, he was like, you know why Dale had to die, right? I was like, no, why? And he was like, because God needed a driver. And I lost my mind. I was like, I think I texted like Nate almost immediately. It was just kind of surprised. I always heard Nate saying it, I always heard him, doing this joke, so I thought it was just kind of like him being dumb, but this is a thing. Like it's a thing all over.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, NASCAR is big in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Nate probably being the only NASCAR fan in the group.
Yeah. I think turning it into a drinking game is what really...
Oh yeah, Fireball Fridays were dangerous for that.
Yeah, it's because we got started Halloween night was like when we hung out as a friend group for the first time.
Well, even before that, whenever you guys move in the crack house, we would...
Before you go on from that, the crack house was the house that Nate and I lived in together.
Mm-hmm.
We call it the crack house because it had a lot of cracks in it, not because we did crack.
It did look like you did crack, though.
No crack was ever in that house, to the best of my knowledge.
I mean, I never did crack.
I never did crack.
And I don't
I'm
think
not
I
saying
will.
anything because, we're on record. But, yeah, no, I do remember, it was definitely before everybody got together, though, that me and Nate partook in the you can't say three in this house.
Well,
you have to say Dale.
that was rule number 4 of our 4 rules. Rule number 1, the beer is Nate's. Rule number 2, something to do with me. Rule number Dale, if you don't follow the rules, you get pawpaw slapped. And rule number 4, 3 is always Dale.
You gotta love the order. The order always killed me.
Well, because we didn't really,
Yeah.
we had to make it a rule because people didn't believe it.
Yeah. No, that was on the fridge for...
Years.
Yeah. That was fun.
What was the rule about me?
I don't recall.
Oh man, I was thinking about that recently. Like, what is? It was we had one rule for Nate, one rule for me, and then yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember. It was
It was ages ago, eons even.
It's been a minute.
And yet somehow you still keep deciding to go visit.
What, the crack house?
Yeah, you just
No,
keep
I
going.
did that one time.
That's one time more than the rest of us.
I've
Lies.
been back there somewhat. Like, me and Keith still talk.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
do you go back there just to be like, and this is where it all started?
So you're saying you never drove by after you moved out?
I mean, I've driven by to go
So
do
you
other
admit,
things,
you
but I
admit.
have not entered the neighborhood to show my girlfriend, hey, this is where I.
Well, we don't have to bring the girlfriend part in it, but have you just ever yourself?
I don't think it's weird. I mean, because The place, it is interesting. I want to see like what happens to it next because it was such an awesome start to like
Yeah.
our story.
Like that was always thought that was so amazing that you guys were like, you know what, we want our freedom now. We want responsibility. Let's get this
I mean,
this house for keep.
It wasn't really a thing of we. It was more. I mean, Nate was like, I'm moving into this place. Do you want to come live with me? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to have my own place at 18. And then
And that really made it easy to look over a lot of that place's pitfalls.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
winters, and there was no heating and air. Winters were kind of rough, but it was just having that much freedom and everything at such a young age.
I'll never forget. My mom only visited once, and it was like 2 weeks into me moving in. And she said she left the house. She was there for like maybe an hour.
Yeah.
She left the house, went to the bar that Barham works at.
One of the
You know what I'm talking about.
yeah. No.
Yeah, she went there for lunch with the family, and she was crying, and Barham was like, oh, what's wrong? It's like, I just saw where Philip lived. I can't believe it's come to this. And I'm like, it's not bad. I mean, like, it wasn't great, but
Looking back on it, come on.
looking back on it, but also, I mean, I personally, like,
Yeah.
I didn't have that many issues with it. Like, yeah, sure, when it was like winter and it was cold, I'd be like, this is slightly annoying. For me, it was a little bit easier because I'm a big guy. I've got more heat stored in. Nate is a space heater and releases all of his heat, so
Yeah.
winters are cold for him.
I remember my stepdad came because I will say it was such a lucky time that you guys moved in there because my family was moving out and into other places, so they were getting rid of old furniture and couches and stuff. So I think I gave you 2 couches. I know I gave you at least one.
You gave us the big one.
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you
I think you gave us. I think you.
You remember when
maybe
Nick came
Nate's
over though?
mattress?
You gave me my mattress because I'd been sleeping in a chair on the floor up until then.
Yeah, that's a great way to start living in a new house. I have to say, but
I mean,
but do
yeah.
you remember when Nick came over?
He came over twice.
Did he come over twice?
Yeah.
I never remember this.
Well, I don't think you were there. The first time was to drop off the couch, and I don't think he remembered
Yeah.
who I
well,
was.
because he told me. No, you told me about it, and he went over there. Whatever. He gave you the couch, and then he looked at you and he was like, "Tell Phil I said hi," and then left like he thought you were Nate or something.
Something like that. But then I remember the second time was surprise birthday party for you when your mom came and brought you to the house and like Chris was there.
Nick wasn't there.
Nick came earlier to bring the decorations.
Oh,
And
I didn't know
at
that.
the time that he came, I was cleaning up, so I had a couple trash bags that were filled up. And boy, was my face red when he came in and immediately saw the 4 trash bags. And I was like, oh, he thinks I'm a slob. And then, he left, didn't really say anything about it. I was like, okay, maybe he just thought, like, yeah, he's just cleaning. And then I guess your mom, like, he told your mom or something, and then your mom asked me about it, and I was like, oh, I was cleaning at the time. And I'm like, oh, man, I feel real, like,
Speaking of trash, and I feel like this should be mentioned about the crack house, and it's probably not going to be. I remember your trash can was always full.
which trash can?
The trash can that was in the kitchen. It was always full. I remember leaving. It was so full. I remember leaving a box of Bojangles on a Saturday or something like that. And then I came over like Thursday or Friday, and it was in the same exact spot. It had not moved 1 inch.
We had a long driveway, and I didn't want to have to walk all the way down there. Nate worked a lot. I didn't want to have to
Yeah.
want to do it. You're in your late teens. You don't want to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I definitely was way more neglectful than I wanted to be of the place. I was working and going to school full time, so it was always, that's just an excuse, but
I mean, it's reasonable though. Like it wasn't like I don't think I ever sat there and was like, man, I wish Nate did more stuff around the house. It was like, oh, Nate does a lot of stuff outside of here. Like this is where he comes to rest.
yeah, and I was kind of fine with it, I guess. It was our place, so it was, I mean, I guess who cares? We just pretty much just had our friends over and did what we wanted. It wasn't a nice place. We weren't worried about staining the carpets or stuff like that. It was just a safe place we
Yeah.
could all hang out.
I will say I was definitely like, oh, when you were telling me that, I was like, oh, this place sounds so cool. Phil was telling me how like you guys got to keep a pool table. I was like, that's awesome. I love pool. We love playing pool. That would be perfect.
And that was a big selling point to me too. For some odd reason, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be 18 years old. I'm gonna have my own place with one of my best friends, and there's gonna be a pool table. This is gonna be amazing. And much like the rest of that house, my reality was a little bit warped.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
And like, I mean, we did get some great use out of that table. We didn't use it what it was. what it
The
was
amount
for.
of card games, Monopoly games that we played there was a lot of fun because it was perfect.
Yeah, and that was where everyone kind of congregated up until we got the old couch thing that I got at the estate sale.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
what would happen is that we would start at the pool table and then the end of the night we would always kind of
Migrate.
yeah.
I don't know why I was so hell-bent on sleeping on that. You remember that, like, 2 weeks where I was like, I'm sleeping on that couch tonight.
Yeah.
I remember you sleeping on the armchair. I don't know about the couch.
Well,
but-
that was whenever we had, like, big groupings, I would
Yeah.
choose to sleep in that because,
The thing was so comfy. I abandoned that thing there.
Oh, really?
well, yeah, now it's gray.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just, I think the house is kind of mildewy, so I think it's starting to get kind of affected by that, and that it's been through several like moves and stuff like that, and it's just ready to stay. It was very comfortable though, like an insanely comfortable couch.
Yeah.
I'm sure I still have that video of you. It was like the first time Zach came over, and you were like, I think you were holding the leg, and you were holding something else. I don't remember what. And you were like, "Ah, this would be funny," and you threw yourself back into the couch, and it was a recliner, so he goes back and it rolls back, and his feet are sticking up. And you just kind of sat there for a minute, and we were laughing so hard, and especially when Nate had his like super long hair.
Yeah.
You have no proof.
I do.
We all have proof. What are you talking
I
about?
still have the picture of John Hick where you were dressed up.
I have a picture of you as Redneck Samurai.
I have that too. What else? I've got the picture of you as Shaggy. I actually went through to the very beginning of the Dale's a Crowd group chat.
Oh my gosh. How
Because-
did you even have time to
Well, we were sitting here on Thursday, and
Okay, okay.
and you guys were doing your little thing.
The Zoom meeting?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and Nate and I were sitting there on our phones while everyone else was talking.
By the way, for context, I had a meeting for a job that I might still be doing on Monday. So, and Patrick is our buddy, and he might be going on it too. So we kind of had to like leave for like half hour, even though there was people here. So I thought you guys were just talking, and I didn't think that.
Well, we did for a while. We talked about Branlin,
Yeah,
It was
which
a long meeting.
it's half hour.
I mean, but whatever. Yeah, and I just scrolled through, and I was like, oh, like the first saved message is from, I think it was like November 13th, 2019.
Jeez.
And I was just like looking at old videos, and it was one of the videos I was looking at was the night. I don't know what to call that night other than the night Malik showed up.
That's how you name that night?
Well, because I don't remember most of that night.
Lies. Okay.
Because that was also the night that Malik had to block the doorway so I could not continue to grab bottles of alcohol.
Yeah. That's that night was definitely.
The picture of you during that night was terrifying. Like, looking at it, I was like, oh my god.
What picture? What are you talking about?
Well, you would know because you were passed out from, I don't know.
I drank a lot that night.
Probably, but like, it was during winter, and you know, like Nate and I have said, it got cold, and you started turning blue.
Oh, was that night?
That was that night.
Was it?
You
Oh.
turned blue, but you were also like sprawled out, but also curled up on the big couch, and I was just like the picture of you is just like you kind of look like a mannequin or like a CPR dummy, but like super detailed.
Okay.
And then there's like pictures of me with that dumb Pikachu beanie on.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that? You used to wear that all the time.
I used to wear it when I'd be like, all right, I'm going all out tonight.
Okay.
And I put that away because one, I don't wear it as much anymore because like it looked better on me when I was a freshman in high school and I was skinny, and now I look like I definitely shouldn't be wearing it.
I mean, you shouldn't be wearing it for a couple of reasons, but I don't know about.
Why shouldn't I? Why else?
Because we don't have to get into it, but
No, hold on. Feo's grandma made that. You gonna say?
Did she really?
Yeah.
Honest. Wow, that's really high quality then. If she
Yeah.
made that, wow.
She also made a Charmander.
Okay.
So that was. It's a Pikachu hat. I don't.
Yeah.
Did we say that?
It's a Pikachu hat. Yeah. We did.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever we first started drinking, we all try to have our own little things to be like, oh, look at us, we're so quirky and we're drinking now. You guys, like very occasionally, not really anymore, always give me shit for the berry thing.
Well, yeah, because you don't do Barry anymore because we've called you out on it so many times.
I know. Yeah.
Barry was like, so for context, anytime Roland would get slightly intoxicated,
Okay.
you would post on your Snapchat just like,
Berry.
yeah, you'd go, Barry, slide up for a TBH, and then you'd never do it.
What? The TBHs?
I don't, unless you like.
I did. They were
it-
just all DM'd.
Oh.
They like.
See, I thought you were gonna be like posting them as like, what's up? You know, Katie, you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
But you would do this thing, and it was a little. I would get worried about it because you would just body slam the floor. Like
I wouldn't body slam it
you would
because
belly
I-
flop.
No.
But then you'd go into push-ups.
Yeah, because I was a baller.
You would belly flop in the push-up position and then go into push-ups, and I'm like, you're gonna hurt yourself.
I was really into push-ups.
I remember him doing it with his arms out straight.
Yeah, that was the thing.
No, I would just.
You would belly flop in
just
the push-up
fall.
position.
I remember, so I would fall, do that or whatever, or I'd just like fall and stuff. Phil would give me so much shit because for a while you didn't drink. You were like, yeah, you know, I can be sober and hang, and then
Drinking was like I was scared. All right, I'll be honest. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I don't see the appeal of it. I don't, like I'm scared. I don't want to get like, I don't want this to become like a huge thing in my life or anything like that. I don't want it to like take over my life. And then Nate came home with like a box of different drinks.
Don't look at me. I don't know why you're looking at me, Nate. This is your
You
story.
remember that?
I'm trying to remember.
I remember that Aristocrats bottle that you guys had.
That was a part of it. There was Fireball, Jaeger,
Yeah.
a bunch of different things. And that was what kind of...
By the way, that was fucking insane. You guys would just drink Jaeger. Like, you never mix it or anything.
Don't say you guys.
You.
I would not drink it. I had one sip of Jaeger.
Jaeger was mine, and I always mixed
That's
it
right.
with Red Bull.
Yeah.
I didn't like Jaeger.
I never saw you mix it, so that's why I was like,
I never really drank it that much.
such
That
a
bottle,
bitter.
Well, it's supposed to be like a health elixir.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's what it's advertised as.
Oh my gosh.
helped me feel better.
It helped me feel minty because that's all you felt.
Yeah.
I was like, did I just brush my teeth? No, that's alcohol.
But I will say, when you started, so before you started drinking, you always like make fun of me for like, I don't understand how you're doing this. Like, why are you just like falling on the ground? He got drunk and immediately started doing all of those things. I remember he fell down. He looked at me, made direct eye contact. He was like, I understand you now.
I remember this.
I
Yeah.
also remember that. Yeah, that
I
was.
understand you
It
now.
was, it was an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
Y'all
But-
always did stupid shit when y'all was drunk.
Like it was the first time okay, well, it was like the first or second. It was definitely the first time I was aware I was drunk. But we were trying to order pizza. Do you remember that?
I do, yes.
And
Yeah.
you kept telling me to go do it, but I didn't have my card put into my phone, so I had to go get my wallet, which was on the other side of the house.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the floor, and you would say, Phil, just go get your wallet. And I go, Roland, I can't move from this spot. I physically cannot walk away from this. And
Yeah.
then you were like, just do it. And like, what was it? Hannah was just sitting there and like kind of zoned out, and then came back in and was like, are you guys still talking about getting the pizza?
You know what's crazy? I think I ended up doing it.
Yeah, I made you do it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not going to get my wallet. You're in my house.
Speaking of our early drinking day, I'm glad that when we started drinking, Nate kind of was taking a break from drinking because Nate used to go hard drinking. And I'm kind of not grateful, but I do know that I have a competitive nature. And if you and I probably would have tried to go like, you know, try to match with you on the drinking level. And I just know
You have never done that with me.
No, well, because it's different. Like, Nate would do shots. You chug on my cards at the beginning to freak us out. And then we just got into
To freak you out.
Then why do you just, here's Phil's drinking. I'm not trying to insult you. Don't look at me like I'm trying to insult you. 'cause
I'm not trying to insult you because I had to have a conversation with my dad about this a couple
But
weeks ago.
what you do is, and it's not even like straight liquor, it's just these, like, you know, these fruity drinks, which I drink too, so I can't, you know.
There's nothing wrong with drinking a fruity drink.
But what you do is you chug them, because I always gave a reaction whenever you would chug sodas. This is how I'm thinking of it. And then you might chug two, and then you'll baby one for an hour.
Well, yeah, because it's like, so how I am with that is like, after like a shot or two, like I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting that buzz.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more for these because I'm currently drinking one right now. These
Yeah.
Jack Daniel's lemonade, which are delicious, and you know I like lemonade. Lemonade's a good flavor. But with these, it's like if you don't drink them in a certain amount of time, they get warm, and you're supposed to drink these cold. And I don't like warm alcohol.
You're supposed to drink those warm?
No, you're supposed to. It says right here, serve cold.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you're supposed to.
I do get that, and that's part of the reason, like, I drink beers faster, just because after a beer sits out for so long, it's not really the most enjoyable thing. Patty just drinks half of it, and then
Goes
moves
to
on.
the next half of a different beer.
The thing is, I know other people who do stuff like that
Yeah.
because some of them have traumatic memories of going to a southern party and picking up a solo cup and taking a sip and being like, oh no, this is not beer, this is someone's tobacco dip.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So
I have heard that too.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's also like I chug everything because I'm always thirsty. Because I like
don't drink water. Yeah, that's a
I know,
side
I-
effect.
that's a
okay,
big thing.
I drink water now.
You told me once you said I haven't had any water in 2 months.
So for like a 3-year period, sorry, a Dale year period,
Take a sip. Said a sip, but okay.
Well, I had to finish it anyways.
That's fair.
For a Dale year period, I didn't drink water because, I was an adult. I didn't feel the need to. I was like, I don't like not drinking. No, I don't like drinking non-flavored things.
Yeah.
And I know some of you listening are like, oh, just put flavor in it.
Bold of you to assume people are listening.
Yeah.
I know at least one person is listening to this.
Who?
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
That's-
Just
hey, Nick.
thought I'd say hey.
Hey, Nick.
But like I wouldn't drink water, and it mostly started with Mountain Dew. I would only drink Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Which terrible decision. And it's so funny now. I cannot drink Mountain Dew. I had half of a Mountain Dew once in the last year. And I was like, this is disgusting. My teeth feel disgusting. There's so much sugar in it. But I drink at least one Coke and one Sprite a day, because the Coke is caffeinated, Sprite is not. So
Yeah.
I drink Sprite more towards later in the day, because you're not supposed to have caffeine past 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sugar either, I think, but
I am
continue.
still surprised I see Hannah drink so much Code Red still.
I don't I mean, Hannah, don't come for me for this. I have had a little bit of Code Red, and I don't know how you can get past the flavor.
Okay, I think Code Red is a delicious drink, and there's something that I used to drink a lot back in middle school, and I can definitely see the appeal to having them. And I don't think she drinks as much as she lets out she does. I love you.
By the way, while we're talking about you and water, I just want to tell one story. There was one time we were drinking, and we were in the living room, the crack house,
Oh my god.
and you were starting to get sick, really bad, pale in the face, and you started to pass out, and I think it was me, I think Hannah and Nate.
Mm-hmm.
You remember this?
Because we tried to watch Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah,
Oh, that-
yeah.
yeah.
We were
And
on the couch, and Philip was just not feeling good, and I just at one point like a rodent. There's no other word to describe it. Just like an insect fleeing for its life. You just kind of flopped yourself out of the chair and started crawling to the bathroom, and we just heard these horrible sounds. And I walked in I walked in the bathroom, and you were just over the toilet, and you slowly looked at me like it was a horror movie, and you just said, help me. It was horrifying. I was like, oh my gosh. And I kept trying to get you to drink water. I was like, you need to drink some water, you need to get some H2O in you. And you're like, I don't like it. And I made you drink some, forcefully drink some, and you almost threw up. You almost threw up from drinking water. You were like, the flavor. There's no flavor.
Okay, I didn't say that when I was drinking it.
I think you did.
No, you did.
Maybe
Did
not
I?
that
Yes.
time. Maybe not that.
Not
No,
speci-
it was
not
that time
speci-
because
Was it really?
because I was like, why are you throwing it? Literally doesn't have any. He was like, it doesn't have flavor. It doesn't have flavor. And then I
I
remember.
don't remember that. I remember. So the whole thing, the whole issue was, I think I was having some kind of anxiety attack or something like that. It may or may not have been around the same time that Hannah had to go meet my parents and my dogs. But
Yeah.
so
And I
that
think
kinda
you went
gave me
to-
some anxiety.
I think you went to throw up again, and I looked at Nate and Hannah, and I was like, I helped the one time. Your guys' turn, and they looked at each other and did rock paper scissors. And I was
didn't know this.
I was like, you guys are fucking jerks. All right, so I went over to help you again. I kept trying to make you drink water, and then you were doing other stuff. You're trying to deal with it, and then like a week later, we're telling the story to Patrick, and I let you tell the story, and you painted me as the bad guy somehow, some way, and I look over, Nate's like, I can't even remember if he was just so uncomfortable, he was just kind of hiding, or he was laughing hysterically. But
I apologize for that, Roland.
Thank you.
I did not mean for that to be the way it came off.
I was the bad guy.
it was just like, it was fine. Like, you were okay, and I made sure you were okay. But it was definitely freaky. And I think, oh my gosh, no, I know why.
We don't have to keep going into this night. This night.
No, I was gonna say, I know why you had an anxiety attack. Because of the next day.
Yeah, that's right. That was the next. So
we woke up.
Hannah,
he was gone.
Hold on.
I'll let you tell. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that was the night that Hannah came to meet my parents because she was going to pet sit my 2 dogs. We had Costello, who was our older, like 15-year-old Chihuahua Terrier, and Oreo, who is our, I don't know, like 5-year-old Border Collie. And so, Hannah came to meet the dogs and everything, and it was an interesting night. Hannah keeps bringing up that my mom didn't let William have more than 2 pieces of bread, but, whatever.
She talks about that every once in a
while. And it was the next day. I woke up on the couch at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I was like, maybe I should get ready for work. I don't have to get ready for work for another 15 minutes, so I'm going to take another quick power nap. Woke up to a phone call at 8 o'clock in the morning. By that point, I had very much missed work, so I just decided not to go in. And I answered the phone call, and it was my mom telling me, we have to go put down Costello. He's paralyzed from the waist down. And, it was real sad.
Yeah.
But, I went and did it, and I was real depressed all day. And it was kind of an eye-opening thing, because now it's like whenever I get an anxiety attack out of nowhere like that, because it's happened 2 more times, and it has been any time that there has been a death in my family, I have felt that. I don't want to say it's anything supernatural.
I'm going to say it is. That's supernatural.
I just think it's like a weird coincidence. Like, there is a 6th sense that we all have that's like, it's something that you feel is going to happen.
By the way, did you know you actually have, like, I think 23 senses? The whole 5 senses thing is just, it's just very summarized. Like,
is that why it's called 23andMe?
I don't know about that, but, like, balance is a sense that you have. Where you don't have to get into it, but yeah, fun fact.
That's interesting. I'm not going to look into this any further.
That's fair. I respect that.
But yeah, and then I came home, because I stayed at my parents' house for a little bit because I was super depressed. That was my childhood dog that I had to watch get put down. One of the first times I ever saw my father cry, just throwing that out there.
Interesting.
And then...
Isn't this such a funny podcast,
Yeah,
guys?
this is great. I'm so glad that this had to get brought up.
We can do a different story.
Well, I just want to end it with a nice little anecdote that Roland was pitching me this film idea.
I was doing a homage. That's what it was. Continue.
Sorry, how did you pronounce it?
Homage.
Do you pronounce it like home is in where you live, or is it om?
See, I've always pronounced it homage.
Yeah, homage.
Like, okay.
Homage.
Homage.
What?
Homage? I don't know how to
what
fucking
is
speak, so.
oregano?
Oregano.
No, what is it?
It's like a spice.
So it's like, okay, maybe I'm asking that question wrong. The recipe for the KFC chicken, it has 13 what and spices?
Herbs and spices.
Okay, so you say herbs. Why do you say homage?
I don't know. The English... Okay, first of all, and Nate will agree with me, the English language is definitely fucky, okay? There's a lot of, like, weird...
Why is Nate going to agree with
Nate
you?
will definitely agree.
I do agree. English is a difficult language.
I mean, baloney...
Blagna.
Yeah. Colonel... There's not even R in the spelling of colonel.
I mean, that's fair. But also...
I'm just saying it's just, like... there's different rules for different words. Even though it should be. I'm just saying.
Anyways, to go back on track.
Okay.
Roland was telling me about a story he wrote that was like, hey, Phil, I want you to play this character. It's a zombie apocalypse movie, and so the movie kind of starts out, you're bringing your dog to your work and whatever, and you leave the dog outside, and then you come back, and the dog's not there anymore, and, you find out the dog's dead. And then I'm like, oh.
Nate remembers.
You had a real track record for doing this, by
Yeah.
the way. Of just, like, bring up, hey, Phil, you want to know something funny? Da-da-da-da-da, someone's dead. And it's like, why would you bring up death around me immediately after I come back from someone dying?
Okay, so the story,
You're 2 for 2.
it's more than that.
But
And I was telling my family about this, and I'm not the only one guilty of it. Mike does the same exact thing. Everybody, they're all, Anyways, that's funny. We were all at Nate's house. Phil had just come back from Florida, where he was like
I was going down for a funeral, and while I was down there, another one of my grandparents passed away, and it was very, very depressing. And then I come back up. We're hanging at Nate's house. It's the first time I've seen you guys since I got back.
Yeah, we're all, just being lively.
We're hanging out and talking, and Roland...
I just watched Little Miss Sunshine. It's a fantastic movie.
And I had never seen it, and Roland goes, hey, Phil, have you ever seen Little Miss Sunshine? There's this really funny scene in it. So it's like the grandpa dies. And I had just come back from Florida from my grandfather's funeral.
It's funny. Most people would just stop right there and realize, oh my gosh, that's horrible. I didn't.
You described the scene, and I'm just sitting there like, and maybe I was trying to like make a joke out of it a little bit, but I was like, oh my god, like this dumb motherfucker really just asked.
Well, we talk about movies a lot, and so I was like telling him this movie I just watched, this hilarious scene, and eventually, after so much time, I finally noticed that like everybody's quiet, and I'm like, oh, what's wrong? Oh.
And then I think Hannah was the one who was like, you really just had a whole conversation about someone's grandfather dying and that it's funny?
Phil definitely had a good sense of humor about it because he saw in my eyes that
I looked in your eyes and I was like, he doesn't know. You knew I went down for it because I definitely told you.
Yeah.
Because of the week before.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I felt so bad.
The week before, I said, Nate came in and said, hey, what's up, you guys? Because we were hanging out. Because I told Roland, I was like, hey, my grandfather just passed away. I'm leaving for Florida tomorrow. Let's hang out tonight so I can kind of get my mind off things. We're hanging out, and Nate comes over afterwards, and we're just sitting around talking, and Nate says, so, what's up, you guys?
Oh!
And Roland, meaning to text the other person there, we don't have to bring up her name if you don't feel comfortable.
I was under an influence, and I had a hilarious joke, and I was like, well, I can't say it out loud, So I decided to text my friend, what's not up?
No, you didn't say that. Nate said, what's up? And then you just replied with, Phil's grandpa died.
Yeah. And I thought I sent it to the friends, and I was like, I'm hilarious. She's going to love this. This is going to be so funny. And Phil just looks at his phone, and he looks at me, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You didn't understand it first either.
No,
you
again, I
were looking at me,
didn't.
you're like, what? And you had like you had the like, I'm uncomfortable because this isn't happening, like this can't be happening kind of smile. And I pull my phone out and I go, Roland just texted me, Phil's grandpa died. And he went, no, I didn't. And I show him the text and he's like, oh shit.
The night till
Roland,
the end, buddy.
Yeah.
Roland, I will say this, anytime, like, maybe it's just when you drink, but you become blissfully unaware of so many things. Like Thursday night, we were like, hey, let's figure out where to eat. we can't get Domino's delivered because you are an old man and cannot download the Domino's
That wasn't
app.
my fault. That was literally.
I mean, we would have known this like 30 minutes before if you would have, downloaded the app, and then it would have said, "Hey, we don't deliver to your location."
They just weren't delivering, but yeah.
But anyways, we talked for maybe 10 minutes about going to Cookout, and then what was it? You said, "Oh, so we're not going to Domino's anymore?"
This is a genuine question.
No,
And-
wait, you got it wrong because we were going to Cookout y'all were going to Domino's, and then we were doing Domino's, but they wouldn't deliver. So then we decided to do Cookout, and y'all went outside because y'all were going to drive to Cookout, and me and Hannah sat inside on the couch, and like 2 or 3 minutes later, y'all come rolling back inside, and y'all are like, "All right, so no one can drive," and we're like,
Well, it wasn't so much that none of us could drive. It was that one of us couldn't drive, and the rest of us didn't have the room in our cars.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, and then we decided to like order something from Domino's and pick it up because that was the better alternative. They couldn't just go get the Cookout. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not as easy, is it? Yeah. It's a little twisty-turvy. Anyways.
Yeah, but also, you definitely said so we're not going to Domino's thing. The first time was when we were talking about Cookout. Because Hannah came out of a dead slumber to tell you that you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And then...
She kept doing that. Like,
But then you...
She would be falling asleep, and, like, we're like, all right, she's done, I guess. And then we'll say something, and then Hannah would just, like, wake... Like, she had not been sleeping, and would just say, "You're a moron." Or just, like, chime in,
yeah, she would
like she's a
join
part
back
of the
into the
conversation. Also, I was telling Brandon about this. We were hanging out. We had somebody new with us, and he was like, I don't understand how you guys can do all these lines so fast. I don't think I could ever do this." And Phil was like, "Nah, man, as long as it's funny, just say it. Nobody gives a shit."
As long as you think what you're saying is funny, it doesn't matter what other people think.
And then Hannah looks at Patrick and says, "You're ugly." Like, that was it. That was the thing, and we had to like, "No, sweetie, you can't just call people ugly. You gotta make a joke out of it. You can't just."
It was that, but then you tried to dab him up.
Because what I was gonna do is like, "Man, you're not ugly. Like, I get you." But he just saw me dabbing him up, and he was like, "No, I'm not gonna fucking dab you up after you just called me ugly. I'm not gonna dab you up for that." I was trying to be there, and
it's just the way it comes off.
yeah.
But even with the whole thing of, we all say things and we just say it like that. Half the time I say things, I don't think about what I say.
Mm-hmm.
For example, that same night, Hannah said that they've lost a few people at where she works, implying that they passed away. And my first reaction was, "Oh, did they find them?" Thank God the only person who heard me was Nate.
Speaking of Nate, we need you to tell a story. I feel like
I've told plenty.
I don't know. I'm just trying to include you, just making sure.
I feel very included.
Do you have any stories that you want to say for this, or?
Not really.
Okay.
I'll keep rolling with y'all though.
Okay.
He just provides like wise insights.
Yes. That was such a fucking thing. Especially at the crack house was just like, I swear it was just because you didn't talk that much that everybody started to respect your opinion. Like,
That
he
was
was
always-
just so, we're all like drinking and being lively, and then what would happen is like 2 of us would get in an argument about something stupid, and then we would all look to Nate for guidance and be like, "We need a vote," and then Nate would be like, "Now Philly, he has a point, and Roland, I understand where he's coming from." It's just like that. And we just listened for some fucking reason. Like, he didn't...
It was the whole thing of, it was every time he would say things, it was never coming off as like a negative reaction.
Yeah.
It was always, "I'm here to help."
Because he was just... Yeah, he was just...
It also helped the image that now, if you were to ask the rest of the group, who's the leader of the gang? You would say you, and everyone else would say Nate. Except for Nate. Nate would probably say, I don't know, Phil and Roland or something.
Yeah. We don't have to get into the leader talk because that's gonna be.
That's gonna be a whole thing of you talking about, oh, I'm Star-Lord.
I still think. Okay, first of all, before you even give me the Star Lord talk, let's talk about how that originated. This is around the time where the group was, still kind of like the new thing, and we still do this occasionally, where we
do it all the time.
But we don't do as much anymore.
We've run out of groups.
Yeah, but we would compare each member of the group to like just some in something in pop culture. And I remember one time I came to the Crack House and Phil was like, we've decided on who we are. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, okay, I'm listening. And you told this to me. You were like, Nate is obviously Rocket because
he can build things.
Yeah, because he's got to build things. He doesn't talk about his past, all this other stuff. You admitted you're like, I'm Groot because I say the same thing over again, hoping for a laugh.
And I'm also, Nate's right-hand man.
And then you said I would have to be Star-Lord.
I did say, you're Star-Lord because, you've got some daddy issues.
Yes.
And you listen to old music.
This is true.
And
I tried to do a mustache for a little bit.
I don't.
That was
I don't equate.
This conversation was before the mustache bit, but
Oh my god, that was. Anyways, Roland. And I did say Roland was Star-Lord, but Roland took that as, oh, I'm Star-Lord, therefore I'm the leader. But
are we still going to get into the leader talk? Are we still going to go into this?
I guess it does fit in with the Star-Lord character that everyone else in the group goes, yeah, Star-Lord's not the leader.
This is fair. I'm just saying, since we're going to get into this, majority of the time, where do we hang out?
Originally,
Originally,
where Nate, we would hang out.
But after Crack House.
After the Crack House, Nate's apartment. Or not Nate's apartment, Nate's mom's house.
Yeah, we would go there.
A lot.
Yeah, but we would always, we always come here.
Now we do.
Yeah.
Now,
but even before, we would
come here like a little bit.
Yeah.
But there was always the issue of you have no Wi-Fi connection down here because
It's
we're doing
it's
this
just
in
tricky.
Roland's basement.
Yeah. There's Wi-Fi occasionally. It's like I don't know. It's out there.
But there is just that little issue where it's like, it's also, you're kind of like, compared to the rest of us, you are kind of out of the way. Like, Nate was the closest.
Yeah.
What are we on now?
We're still talking about like the leader thing, and we're talking about where we'd hang out the most.
Where do you think we hang out the most?
Here.
That's what I thought.
But
I thought.
But,
no. You don't have to finish
that.
that.
We hung out at the Crack House a lot because that was where everyone would go, and there was parking.
Whenever we had the Crack House, we definitely hung out at the Crack House more.
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
After the Crack House, where did we hang out the most?
Here.
Thank you, Nate. No. We were just talking about how we have to respect his opinion.
I mean, we hung out at my house some, but I don't feel like it was a lot because after the Crack House, I moved back in with my mom for a bit.
Yeah.
And it was hard having people over there. It was like just trying to respect her and everything. It was her place, so it's kind of weird inviting people there.
Why don't we hang out at Brandlin's?
Nobody's ever been in Brandlin's. We had to pick up Brandlin one time, and we still don't know where he lives.
That's a good point. I'm convinced that...
I think he sent a picture of his place one time, and you were like, oh, I know where that is. And it...
No, it was when he finally, like, told us where it was.
Yeah.
I was like, I know the area he's talking about.
Yeah.
And then, he sent a picture. Like, he sent a video of him leaving his house and then going to that main road. And I was like, I kind of know where that is now.
Yeah.
I would not be able to point it out to you if you showed me, like, 6 pictures of different houses.
This is fair.
So, unless it was, like, 6 houses being my mom's house, the Crack House, here, Nate's mom's house, I don't know, Hannah's mom's house, and then Brandlin's, I probably still couldn't.
Should we end this episode with how the gang got started?
Yeah, we're getting up to about an hour.
Yeah. So it was, we always tried to have like some parties at the crack house, but we never really.
Parties is a term we used very loosely.
Very loosely, yes.
Yeah.
Very loosely. Because I ever I was hanging out with Chris Cohen's when I was in Charlotte, and he was like, "Oh, we're gonna go to a party." I was like, "Bet, yeah, let's do it." And he was like, "But before we go,"
you've told us this story.
but they don't know.
Yeah, all these stories have been told.
Yeah, all these stories have been told.
That's fair. That's fair, but I don't.
Anyways, and he was like, "Before we go, this is like a party. This isn't like hanging out with Phil and Nate. This is like a party."
How
and
rude.
I was like, "All right, dude. Yeah, no, I get it. It's fine." You sure? Yes, I get it. Let's go, Chris. But so we're gonna throw this Halloween thing. I don't even know who to start with.
It was a thing of like, I was like, oh man, it would be really cool because like, we've got the place. Let's do like a Halloween party.
Yeah.
And I asked Nate if that was okay because I respect his opinion, and he said, yeah, I'm down. And then I said, okay, Roland, out of all of us, being the Dale of us, you know more people than everyone else. So you start. I was like, I'll let you invite whoever you think you should invite.
Yeah.
I'll invite the few people I know, and Nate can invite whoever he wants to.
Nate, did you even invite anybody?
Bailey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
And then I invited Branlin.
Yeah, because you worked with him in Walmart. And
Yeah.
then he brought Malik.
Not that night.
No, that was the night.
Not the Halloween night. How do we keep getting this so mixed up? Malik was not there the original time.
Oh,
Malik
really?
was
Okay,
there
okay.
like a month later.
Okay. It's a month? Okay, anyways. When I was in an app, I was in this computer lab or whatever, and I was struggling. This makes sense, I promise. I was struggling with this project, and I was like looking in the computer room to see if I can get any help. And I go to this computer, and I see this guy that I had in one of my classes.
You see this librarian-looking...
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro ripoff.
Kim Jong-un.
Guy, and I go up to him. I'm like, "Hey, man, is there any way you can help me with this?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, okay." He's with some other guy. They both come over. He's like, "Yeah, yours is fucked. You're gonna have to start over." I was like, "Oh, thanks for that advice." And he was like, "What are you working on?" And so we had at least half hour conversation about movies, like projects we wanted to do. We just just hit it off really well. And I was like, "Hey, man, my friends are throwing this party. Would you want to go?" He's like, "Yeah, where is it in Boone?" And I was like, "No, it's in Hickory." He's like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "I know it's a little out of the way." He's like, No. Like, I'm from Hickory. Like, I'm from Newton, but I'm pretty much from Hickory. I was like, "Oh, yeah, then you should definitely come. Dude, here's the address, blah, blah, all that." And he was like, "All right, cool." We have had a conversation for a half hour before I invited him. Patrick made that a very big deal.
Yes, we're talking about Patrick.
Yeah, this is Patrick.
Because we haven't mentioned his name.
And
Roland and I had filmed with Hannah.
Yeah.
That's how she comes in.
I used to work with Hannah at Chick-fil-A, and we would always go to like her and and like the kitchen would go to Waffle House after work on Saturdays a lot. So I invited her. She invited her friend Bree. Should we talk about?
I think we can leave that part out.
As far as I knew, a bunch of strangers were coming into my house, because I told Philip pretty much, I said, I ain't got time to help take care of planning. You tell me what food to get, and I'll get it. And
yeah, so...
Yeah, you got all those boxes of Little Caesars.
They got eaten eventually.
Yeah.
Like a month later, but...
like, I pull into my house, and, like, there's these two strange girls that are, like, pulling in right after me, and they look scared shitless just because they don't know where they're at, and it definitely doesn't look like the place it should be. Some Silence of the Lambs style thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't help that every other house in the neighborhood was like, "Oh, this is a really nice house," and then you pull up to the other one, and you're like, "This is the one house I hope to not end up at." And we didn't tell anyone what the house looked like.
Yeah. You just kind of gave an address.
We wanted people to come.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like everybody started like coming in, music was playing, everybody started drinking. Everybody was just like getting along. Everybody was just chatting, having fun. I remember Patrick came in with the turtleneck, that classic turtleneck of his.
Dude, he came in with the turtleneck and didn't expect to get made fun of for it.
Yeah.
He brought some Blue Moons, I remember, and some other things, I think.
And he was greeted, like, we gave him Phil gave him a really good greeting. He was like, "Oh, movie guy!"
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah. He was like, hey, what's up? I'm Patrick. And I go, Patrick? And he's like, And then Roland was like, this is the movie guy. I go, oh, movie guy! Hey, how's it going? Shake his hand.
Yeah. What, I think were we playing a game or something?
If we were playing a game, it was probably some Jackbox game.
We weren't playing a game at that point because I think we were all in that kind of like area next to the kitchen. I don't want to call it a dining room because it's more of a cubicle than anything. But
Well, no, when Patrick showed up, we were at the table.
Yeah, we were at the pool table.
I don't think
Okay.
we ended up at that counter that you're talking about until you were passed out, and we were just talking about how we were all concerned that you were dead.
Oh yeah, Nate was passed out for majority of that night. I remember. Is that when we were doing fireball shots? Were we not?
yeah,
That was a Friday.
it was always hard for me drinking with everybody because I'd like work and school, so like I'd come home after all that and then try and keep up with everybody. There would
Yeah,
definitely
it was
be
a
not.
Friday. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was a Friday because, like we were like, oh, like let's do it, or maybe it was a Saturday, but it was a Halloween party.
Yeah.
So some people decided to dress up, others didn't.
Yeah. You didn't dress up.
I did. I was Eddie Brock, and I had the little venom on my shoulder, and then the
Oh
arm,
yeah.
But I ended up taking it off because it was like, well, this is starting to get annoying.
Yeah.
And also, I was the only other one dressed up besides you.
I was dressed up as Steve Harrington from Stranger Things because I had longer hair and that was really big.
And I
Then-
feel bad. Oh, keep going.
Go ahead.
No,
You
I
need
was
to
done.
speak.
You're good.
I was going to say I feel bad for everyone that showed up there expecting an actual costume party.
Yeah, Hannah and Bree were dressed in leather.
No, Bree was wearing a hockey mask jersey, like a Friday the 13th jersey, and
Uh-huh.
booty shorts.
Yeah.
They
And-
were ready for a party.
They were
Yeah.
ready for a party, and something happened that we don't need to talk about.
Well, then don't talk about it.
I know. That's why I'm trying to leave it at that. And then Nate,
It's definitely funny now.
I mean, it's funny now, but like at the time, it was like, yeah.
And everybody else thought it was funny. But, anyways.
Yeah, and so, we're all hanging out, we're talking. Nate went to bed at some point because Nate worked and went to school, so he was tired a lot.
I think the funniest part about when Nate went to bed was that we got Domino's. No,
That
we
was-
didn't. No, that was. You're right.
That was
You're right. You're right.
that was actual Halloween.
Yeah.
That was when we all hung out as a friend group.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Because I was like, these are the people that I enjoyed hanging out with the most at that party. Let's bring them back for
Yeah.
another hangout. And thank God that it stuck.
Yeah.
And we're going on now 2 years of being friends, and I think that's crazy.
Yeah. It just started off with us just doing like these wild ass jokes. That's really what it was. Just like
It is so weird to have a friend group that is like 90% glue. Like I would definitely say, I would look at someone and be like, "You're the glue that holds the friendship together."
who was it? We did a roast for my birthday that was like, but was it you that did the glue? No, I think it was Nate.
No,
Who
because
did the
someone
glue
said,
joke?
I think it was Patrick said Nate is the glue that holds the friend group together.
Yeah.
And then Patrick went to me and said, "Phil, you're the glue. You're also the glue."
And then I got pissed.
that
I was like,
holds-"
how much glue is in this?
"Dude, we're like 90% glue."
Yeah.
Because it's like if it wasn't for Branlin spewing words that I have only heard in movies pre-1956.
Yeah. Cahoots.
Cahoots was the first one. Because he was talking about how Nate and our landlord Keith were in cahoots to murder me.
Yeah.
Not true, by the way. Keith is a very lovely man.
I wish we could like just telling this story is kind of like but I wish we could really just kind of just pick like a lot of these jokes and just like get a record because there was just all of these just wild ass like by the end of it, Braylon and Patrick were really good because they were both like had this wild card, loud laugh, You know, that
it was like Patrick's laugh on its own was like, huh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But then it was like you put the two of them together, and it was the funny, like, no matter what they said,
Yeah.
if they laughed like that,
You laughed too.
you laughed as well because it was that contagious.
Yeah. Oh
And-
my gosh.
or or you would laugh at something that Brandlin said because he was so out of his mind that, like, he just said something, didn't think about it, and then you were like, wait, what?
Oh my gosh.
We can
yeah.
save some of those stories for another time.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Dale's a crowd, which, by the way, if you haven't figured it out by now, is a joke about three's a crowd, but we don't say three, we say Dale. So I'm so glad you waited an hour to hear that explanation.
Yeah.
Something we should have done 2 minutes in.
Yeah.
But
Who started? Was that Brandon that started it? Usually he does the group names.
I think Nate was the one that
Did
did
he do-
Dale's a
okay.
crowd.
Oh, okay.
That was just back whenever it was just you, me, and Phil.
Yeah.
That's right, because it was just the Dale of us.
Yeah.
The Dale Musketeers.
But we do have a really good group, and it's nice to, when we do things together, we go out and have these activities, and
Most of the time, it's we stay in and we have activities.
yeah. But even then, like it's nonstop laughing. It's just everybody has their thing, their quirk that just kind of.
It's like, I don't know, maybe like an R-rated version of the Island of Misfit Toys.
The what?
You've never seen Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Bro,
Oh.
you're rolling the red-cheeked fuck. I don't know, man. You can take that as fuck, and then period, and then I don't know, man, or I don't know. I don't know where that joke was going.
Okay.
But, yeah, we all just kind of have like our own, like, in other friend groups, we would be like the one where it's like, oh, they're coming.
I don't know about that. Well,
No, we're I would say maybe like Nate and
you're saying Nate's like that? You're
no, I'm
just saying
saying
that to his...
Nate is and Bailey are like the ones that most people are gonna be like, whoa, like I'm so happy they're coming.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because Nate's here and I'm sucking up to him.
We literally suck up to Brandlin and say, "Oh, I hope he comes here."
We say that because he's so. Other people would look at Brandlin and be like, "What's he doing here?" Because, like,
Because he's black, Philip.
no. And
Shame.
I definitely didn't say on Thursday that he reminds me of the brown M&M. But
There's been a lot of. We don't even have to get into that, but to just kind of end this on a light note.
To wrap it up, even though in most friend groups we would be the outcasts, we come together and formed a bond that other people like people my parents' age are jealous of, because they're like, I wish I could be as close with my friends as you guys are with yours.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's seen my penis, so that's like.
That nobody asked for that.
Well,
No, don't say well.
you spent a whole summer. You've spent a whole summer.
I spent the whole summer asking because you refused to say anything about it. I didn't ask to see it.
And then I was just giving you evidence.
I didn't need it.
I spent a whole summer listening to my friends talk about their penises.
Yeah, it's a good summer.
Nate, I don't need to talk about what I heard living with you for 2 years.
Anyways, do you want to end it on a note? Do you want to do?
Yeah. So, I don't know when we're gonna do an episode 2. I would love to do an episode 2 though. I think obviously, Roland and I are gonna be like the main hosts, and we'll have a third or fourth member of the group. For example, Nate's here. I know Nate's not like the most comfortable doing this, right?
I'm doing fine, I think. I mean,
I felt like Roland and I talked for ages, and I felt like we kind of...
That's why I felt bad. I was like, oh, we got.
I don't know. I chime in.
That's fair.
You chimed in.
I mean, we can have... Honestly, at one point, I would love to have all 7 of us sit down and do one.
I do not have the equipment for that.
No, I mean, it would be like you know, like anyone listening would be like, God, I can't make it past 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
it would be fun. And I definitely want to do I want to do a Star Wars episode where I bring in Nick,
Yeah, you talked about that.
because Roland doesn't know shit about Star Wars and everyone else does,
Yeah.
and we want to have some fun with that. But yeah, you know, like thanks for joining us on this episode 1, the pilot episode, which is why Nate's here, because Nate's a pilot. Yeah, just thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. And, you know, see you tomorrow or whatever. I don't know.
It's a podcast. They're not going to see you.